chemistry is chemistry. A cathartic feeling is a cathartic feeling. And again, part of me struggled with the concept that it almost felt commonly like a security issue. Too often to me. And again, we're not youngsters, Kathlyn. So, we're not talking about the under 30 crowd. But too often to me, it felt like that somebody thought that if they spent more time texting, that they'd get to know you better and get to the place where they felt comfortable meeting. And I'm like, I'm offering to meet you in a public venue during the day, and that makes you uncomfortable. Already for me, that was a pretty large turnoff. That's actually the thing that I was going to do. And it was amazing to me how often that still presented, they still wanted to text more. And I'm okay with texting, but I'm really not a big fan of it as a dialogue tool. And so the fact that it became a dialogue tool over actually just taking 20 or 30 minutes to have a conversation, Kathlyn, was kind of, it was disconcerting for me. That's a good word. It was disconcerting.
It's very interesting because what I'm looking at is both a man's and a woman's perspective. So from a woman's perspective, definitely I'm not into the long drawn out conversations and text messages going on. I did that, been there, done that. Like literally I had somebody that I was talking to that lived in New York and he was online, locally on one of these popular websites. And that's the reason we connected, because he was basically in my area. He was moving here and we talked for a couple months. We would send videos. I'm talking like of the neighborhood, video. Here's where we live. We talked, and I couldn't wait to get home from work because I had my phone date with this gentleman, right? And I'm feeling it. So he finally came out to visit, and what a nightmare! Like literally, within the first hour, within the first 30 minutes, which you would find out on this quick coffee date, so to speak, I was done. Now I've got this man in my house for a week. Didn't happen. You know what? It's like, you got to find, I'm sorry. You said you were moving here. So you said you had family. I'm going to kindly ask you to go find them and stay with them and never talk to him again. However, that being said, for myself personally, and a lot of women I've talked to, if a man says to them, oh, I just want to meet you for a cup of coffee, they're not down. Not meaning you have to have a long drawn out dinner. It's like, oh, you just want to check me out and see who I say I am. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that turns women off. For instance, if someone said, I want to meet you for, a quick cup of coffee, it's not going to happen. No. You know what? Because for a couple of reasons, coffee houses are usually super busy, not all of them, but people coming in and out, they're getting their coffee, sitting down, getting coffee, sitting down. And then on top of that, the caffeine in the coffee kind of gets you a little hype. So that's funny. I'm already a little stressed. Now I'm like super freaking stressed because now I got people in and out and I've got some coffee in my system. So for me, no, how about we do this? How about we meet? Let's go meet in a bar. Let's go have a drink. Let's just meet at happy hour. Just have one drink. And one drink doesn't take that long. It's a little bit more, I would like more of a relaxed vibe. I'm not talking a sports bar. I'm just talking somewhere where you can hear the conversation. You can kind of feel the vibe without so much background noise. And a lot of women feel the same way. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I offered many times to have a simple drink. I'm just sharing with you that it was very common that it would turn into 2 or 3 hours plus appetizers. I could not find, again, this is part of our societal grooming that, and I eventually finally got to the place where on my profile, I literally wrote, a first meet is not a first date. If you are not okay with this, swipe left. Because I just had to. I had to because not out of any form of disrespect, and it had nothing. And this is again a lot of the percentage sometimes of the opposite gender from me looks at this or views this as somehow being cheap. It's like, no, that's not what it was about. That was about it all for me. It was about the fact that we don't want to turn something into a long evening if either one of us knows that no different than the dancing. This is my joke about going bounce, going, hey, would you like to dance? And you would maybe chat a little bit while you were dancing, or maybe you would chat at the bar real quick. But again, the buying someone a drink would tend to happen because you actually and literally had something in common with them.
Right.
And that's more where it became a challenge for me. And the truth of the matter is, Kathlyn, that yes, I met a couple of nice people online, but when you consider the amount of time I spent and the amount of money that it took, but more the time, my thing was much more the time and the amount you extend yourself to try and get ready. And of course, I live in Los Angeles, travel. And it became extraordinarily challenging for me to stay positive minded about doing it.